The Incarnation of Domination. The Incarnation of Domination.
Welcome everyone to YouTube, the Major Pod Network YouTube channel. Welcome to the Incarnation of Domination. Every week, a Heart Foundation member chooses a superstar. Mark surprises us with a superstar, and then we choose our favorite version of that superstar. Who do we got, Mark?
Jordan Nolan has selected Buff Daddy. Buff Bagwell.
I'm Buff. I'm the stuff, and the girls just can't get enough.
If you were going to own a Buff Bagwell figure,
There's not much, unfortunately.
right, which one would you own?
Real regret. I wish original San Francisco toy makers made the American males.
American males.
1,000,000%.
American males.
Like, were over enough, had enough TV time in 95-ish, early 96 to warrant, right?
I agree.
Yeah, I feel like a huge missed opportunity. That would be the one and only Scotty
San
Riggs,
Francisco toy makers did make a Buff, but in that weird, shitty line, and it's not the best. He's not quite buff enough.
and that's his debut.
His debut.
Yeah. Which at the
I
time,
wonder what he thought. I wonder if he was actually excited.
Handsome
about it.
Stranger. You wonder what he thought? But at the time, he was getting pretty over, so it was like a big deal when that came out, like 98 to finally get a buff.
Finally.
Was like a
Right.
big deal.
A huge deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
And then the next one is the Toy Biz Slam and Crunch, which I love.
Which I loved as a kid.
Now, there is a variant to that where he has the NWO on the choker and on the arm. It's a great buff. That brick style, I loved. I stole that for a while, and I stole it for one-off gear and put Zach Daddy on the back,
Oh.
and then I ran with Zach Daddy for like 2 years or so. I'm like, this sounds great.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like on the gear.
What year would that have been?
So 2016-ish, maybe the end of 2015-ish. I get gear that it's like trunks, but has the brick logo. It says Zach Daddy on the back, and like I said, I loved the Zach Daddy name. The gear I win the IC title in, it says Zach Daddy on the ass.
Oh, wow.
Does?
Yeah,
Wow.
I couldn't have told you that.
Zach Daddy.
Okay, that's interesting.
Learn something new every day, folks.
So then Toy Biz also makes Power Slam,
Power
where you
Slam.
finally get the hat. but
Power
the
Slam's
hat-
number one.
But the hat is weird.
Has a projectile.
It's a
in it.
projectile, and
It's a projectile top hat. What's
and
wrong
it
with
comes
that?
with David Flair.
No, unofficially.
What do you mean not officially?
Does it say it on the packaging?
No, it says with training dummy.
Yeah, it's not David Flair.
And it says the Federation on the shirt, but it clearly looks like a David Flair
Yeah.
or Charles Robinson.
Yeah, it's not the official. Unofficial. That's the best buff figure. I don't care what anyone says. He's got the better skin. He's
He's a
smiling.
scan.
He's jacked. He's got abs. He's got the red tights.
And then there's also
airbrushed deco.
Yes, and then there's also the Nitro Active, where he's also in the red. But I agree. I think the Power Slam is the best. Take a shot. The best buff head.
He also
is
had
the hat.
he had a head ringer too as well.
Head ringer. That hat is so good. If you listen to some Buff interviews, Buff never got love, obviously, because that first match with Booker T, which was a train wreck.
Yes.
But he tells stories that.
By the way, former opener of the show.
That's right.
Yes.
He tells stories how that day, he'd have the top hat and he'd go to catering. He'd come back to the locker room and someone would sit on the hat, scrunch it down.
Man.
And then he said they scrunch it down.
It's kind of funny. He's like a 10-year plus vet at the time
Yeah.
too. That's wow. Made money. It's a weird thing.
Over.
I know.
So
over too.
over.
Whether you think he's the shits or not, he was over.
He was so
couldn't deny
over.
he was over. Because I know people our age at that time love Buff.
I had the
too.
NWO.
You didn't think he was the shits. Yeah.
I had the NWO Kangol style hat at the time to be like Buff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So here's the big question.
Okay.
If that was our favorite.
No, there's more. There's more.
Okay.
Well, he's got classics.
Because then finally he gets the classic superstars.
Deluxe Aggression was actually pretty cool.
And they do give him the top hat, but it's not
No,
decoed
no,
right.
Yeah, no.
And his Deluxe Aggression again has the red. It says Buff on the hat, but it's not the best.
Yeah.
And that's it. He's got nothing.
I know.
He's got a car, the
He
Nitro.
would be a great micro brawler.
Yes.
Yeah, it'd be a
Yes,
great
with the
microphone.
hat.
Yeah,
How would they do the hat though?
it'd be like really
I said
big.
there's somebody with that. There's somebody with that. I think.
But that top hat though,
Like does Juice Robinson want to have a big hat?
there was big debate over my dad's figure because of the foam finger. We had to keep like altering it because it was making the figure
Too big?
Too big. So I don't know how the hat would work.
How did Danhausen get this cape?
But that's
He's
wide.
wide.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
height.
Oh, too
I guess you
high.
really
high,
have to-
high.
You have to fit this square.
Right, and that's the issue. That's the
Danhausen
issue.
literally used the entire square. Holy shit!
Okay, so
Unless we're missing something, my
No, I'm
favorite
pretty positive.
here, and this is a horrible thing to say. I think the loosey goosey, 100%. My favorite is a Power Slam. But if you're a mid card collector, it looks ridiculous with this fucking David Flair or Charles Robinson in it.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in that
Like, you
regard,
wouldn't- if you met Buff, you wouldn't want him to sign that.
right?
Yeah.
So in that regard, I would go with the Slam and Crunch.
I think I would go deluxe in that regard, but I
Yeah.
loved that Power Slam as a kid. I thought it was cool. He deserved more though. That's kind of
did.
sucks.
well, speaking of deserving more, let's finish this out because it was a little shorter. What if you could have one Mattel? What would you sort of want it to look like? Mattel's going to do a Legends Buff Bagwell.
I'd want it just because the black tights are a little boring. I'd want it red tights, airbrush, like the Power Slam brought to life.
I need Vicious and Delicious Buff Bagwell to go on that NWO shelf.
I want like to me like the brick is like Buff Bagwell, but I don't know if he was wearing the top hat.
And I don't
thing.
think so.
I don't care
What-
about top
what-
hat. I want
no,
NWO.
you need the top hat.
I
The
need
Top hat became
NWO Buff.
such his thing.
You know it's a horrible thing to say, but what I would want is like his last ever appear like that first WCW gets kicked out Buff.
The match with Booker?
That's the Buff I would want.
I don't know about
What?
that. That's weird.
Yeah.
That's a weird
Just
request.
because it was a weird situation?
Just because like
Have you ever met Buff?
I don't think so.
I did a show with him, and it was so funny. I brought MJF and Bear Bronson to it. It was like upstate New York.
Yeah.
And he sat in the locker room. And he took a fan from someone, like a spinning floor fan,
Yeah.
and he sat like this with it, like this close. And he just sat in the locker room like this, like and
I
didn't talk
love
to
it.
anybody, and just on him. And then I know like MJF has a picture with him and like the top hat and shit, and they were like
That's
thrilled.
cool.
And
I love it.
He was really brothered out.
That's so good.
All right, Buff Bagwell.
He's Buff. He's the stuff, and the girls just can't get.
He
enough.
was over, man. We can't deny that. People think he was the shit. It doesn't
He
matter.
was
He was
over.
over. Yeah.
Give me the
That's all that
NWO
matters.
fame.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Buff, we love you, baby.
Yeah.